Hey everybody, what's up? I'm glad everybody's joining us here tonight for another episode here in our broadcast for the Retire Happy Financial Coaching and Retirement Planning for Christians. Happy you guys are here tonight. Whether you're watching live, you're watching replay, hit me up with the hashtag live, hashtag replay. Let me know how you're watching us here. Welcome everybody. Welcome to all our new members that have joined here recently. Thank you for joining. Welcome back to all those that have been with us here for a little while. So. Love having everybody here. Just give everybody a little introduction for those that are new. Myself, I do retirement planning and financial planning. My company RetireWise specializes in doing that, and some of the programs that we have really specialize in and around coaching for Christian families. And what I mean by coaching is it's both the financial and non-financial side of things. It's really both that kind of combine things together and makes for a much better planning, much more comprehensive and holistic side of things. So that's a little bit about what we do. We have some fantastic programs, and I just love doing this. It's my passion and what we do. So let's dive in for tonight. I'm excited about it. We talk a lot about planning. We talk about the great things. We talk about what you need to do, but you got to look at the things of what not to do. There are some retirement blunders out there, and there's some key ones, and there's quite a few, and that's part of the thing that when you go through a whole holistic planning, you talk about a lot of things. Now, I'm not going to talk about the non-financial things tonight. We're going to talk about that another time. We're going to kind of focus in on some of the financial blunders and really just some of the top ones, right? And talk a little bit about what just kind of give an idea of what some people don't think about. And it really needs to be part of your overall plans. Okay. So, despite what your neighbors may say at the barbecue or at the coffee shop, or if you're old school at the barbershop, what your neighbors may say, very few people know enough about retirement and retirement planning to be successful at it. They don't know as much as they think they do. There's a lot of myths and misconceptions out there. Unless you've been studying it and doing this and for as long as we have, it's really hard to put it all together in a comprehensive plan. And today's retirement's not like our parents or grandparents. Things have evolved, things have changed. As you know, like with our grandparents, with a lot of pensions and those kind of things, there wasn't as much planning. So, retirement planning is relatively newer when you think about it, because we don't have those pensions anymore. In the grand scheme of things, it's really a little bit newer. So it takes on a lot different role. So the very first thing, let's get the elephant out of the room, is that you don't have a plan. That's the number one blunder. That's obvious, right? You don't have a plan at all, or you waited too long. Now, regardless of where you're at, whether you're 25 or 65, if you don't have a plan, it doesn't matter. You need to have one. If you're 25, we're doing a lot more planning, and you're doing a lot more planning to get to where you want to be. If you're 65, you're doing an analysis and figuring out where you're at and what you need to do and how you can do it and how to carry it out. But there's still things that you can do, right? So number one is you got to have a plan. That's the biggest blunder, is people wait too long or they don't have one at all. There's a lot to it. There's the accumulation phase, there's the disbursement phase, there's planning that goes around each of those. And we know we need to account for all those different things. My goal was my passion. I want to make sure people are prepared for retirement. We all work way too dang hard in our life to get to retirement and be stressed out about, can we pay our bills? And let's enjoy retirement, whatever that retirement looks like for you. It's individual, it's personal. It may look different for every person, but what does that mean to you? Let's have you be able to enjoy it. And money is a tool, in a way to get us there to be able to enjoy that, right? Like I said, in another episode, we'll talk a little bit more about the non-financial things and some of the things to think about there. But let's go through some of the top things that unfortunately we see as financial advisors and coaches that we don't see people taking account for. So one of the big ones, number one, is Social Security. Now you're going to say, well, is it even going to be around? Well, yeah, more likely, yes, it's going to be around. It may be a little bit different. It may be that it's reduced in benefits. It may be that the taxation's on a little bit different, but there's not really a way for them to get rid of it, right? Let's kind of think about it. It'd be kind of political nightmare, political suicide for someone to not vote for revamping Social Security. Now we're up against the wall. It's going to have to be done here pretty soon. So contact your senators. Why not tell them to get that stuff done? But there's a lot of things on the floor right now, as far as in the committees, rather, about how to go about that. But it's going to be around. But one of the biggest things is people don't give enough credit or respect Social Security in regards to planning. They just think it's a far gone conclusion that you just file and you get it and there you go, right? But that's not necessarily the case. So, in a recent study, about 45 to 50% of people's income uh, in retirement come from Social Security. When you look at the average population in the United States, that's pretty significant. So you got to account for that properly, right? And there's over 1,200 different rules for Social Security. Now, not all of them apply to you. You don't have to know all of them, but there is ways to optimize your Social Security filing and how and when you do it, and take advantage of all the little nooks and crannies, right? People don't think about that. They just think you file and you go walk away. Well, guess what? The Social Security Administration, our friendly little guys down at the Social Security office, they're not allowed to tell you claiming strategies or recommendations or anything like that. All they can do is tell you how to file. I mean, physically how to fill out a form and file. They're literally not allowed to give you any recommendations or guidance. So, if you're looking for them for guidance, all they can tell you is the rules and they can tell you the facts. But they can't give you any guidance. And this can make a big impact on how much you get from Social Security, how long it lasts, how you're taxed, how you may be taxed with Social Security, and how you fit Social Security into your overall retirement plan. So it does need to be accounted for. That's blunder number one. So number two is ignoring sequence of returns risk. And some of you might say, what the heck is sequence of returns risk? So, if you're investing your savings, your nest egg for retirement, the sequence returns risk is the order of how the returns are, how you're pulling money out of the account based on where the market's being. So within the first 5, 6, 7 years of your retirement, if you pull it, think about it, if you're pulling money out while the market's going down, it has a compounding and it's a significant more effect on your account. It's going to last, your account's going to last a lot less because you're having diminishing returns, you're losing money in the account from the market, and you're withdrawing funds. It has a huge effect. So I'll be happy to share with you guys, just hit me up and I can share with you some charts that show you sequence of returns that if you take a hit early on in your retirement, okay, say you take a 23% hit, the market's doing a downslide, you take that at the beginning versus you take that hit toward the middle or the end, the person that takes it at the beginning, their money's not going to last. It's not going to last through retirement. The person that takes it mid later, more likely they're going to last, right? And it's not about what your average return is, because here's the thing: the average return is going to be exactly the same for each of those people. Okay, so you don't want to just look at average return. It's when those returns, when that performance and those hits take place, it makes a major impact. A lot of people don't think about this. A lot of people are concentrated on the accumulation phase, which you should be, but you got to think about the distribution phase. Things to think about, right? And plan around. How do you do that? There are ways around to protect yourself with that. Sequence returns risk is huge, and most people don't think about it. Most people don't know about it. So we like to educate people on that. But you have to have that accounted for. Blunder number three is not accounting for long-term care or health when you're retired and you're not bringing in income. The U.S. Department of Health has put out there the average is about 70% chance of you needing some kind of long-term care or support later on in life, right? That's a pretty big number. So as we age, we're going to need that care, whether it's nursing homes or assisted living or just more medical attention. You have to account for that expense. So your expenses for healthcare, yes, there's Medicare and all that kind of stuff, but that only covers part of it. You have to plan for that backside. You may have heard me talk about the retirement smile, which fits in really good with our retire happy. Is the backside when that expenses start going back up is long-term care. Well, long-term care and healthcare in general goes up. It has to be accounted for, whether it's accounted for in your savings or insurance policies or whatever it may be. There, you have to account for it some way. You don't have a complete plan if that's not accounted for properly. Okay, you got to have that. The good news is there's ways to plan for it. There's ways to accomplish it. But that's blunder number three, is not having a plan for long-term care or healthcare later on in life. Blunder number four is a more recent one that I've added in here, is leaving an IRA or 401k money to your heirs. So one, your retirement is your retirement. You should be spending your retirement money. Don't live that just in case retirement, just in case something happens, I want to save this money over here, or I want to leave a legacy to my kids. not saying don't leave a legacy for your kids, but there's better ways to do that versus spending your retirement money to do it, right? You want to retire happy. Yes, you want your kids to be happy as well, but let's fund your retirement. Let's get you in that retirement happy zone. So things to think about. One, quick reminder, RMDs, required minimum distributions. You got to have those in your IRAs. The government requires you to take them out. If you don't do RMDs, if you don't account for them and take them out after you, turn, well, now it's going to go up to over age 73. But if you don't take them out, you're going to get taxed heavily with a penalty for that, right? Even with the new Secure Act that's passed, the fees got reduced a little bit, but you're still going to get hit. They're going to take your hard-earned money. You don't want that. So the other thing with the new laws that came in place, though, is with the tax laws, your kids, if you leave them an IRA, so they have an inherited IRA, they have 10 years to empty that account. That's one new rule that went into place. Now, why is that significant? Well, more likely, they're still going to be in their prime earnings. Their tax bracket's probably going to be higher, right? When they have to have it drained out. If they don't drain it within the 10 years, they get hit with a huge penalty. They don't get all that money. But if they're taking it out, you're paying taxes and capital gains, whatever, on the withdrawals, and they're taking it at their tax bracket, not your lower tax bracket in retirement. Although tax bracket's a whole other thing that we'll talk about another day, because more likely taxes are going up for everybody based on where we're at with the economy and the national debt. Now, that's a whole other story, right? I'm getting off on a tangent there. But more likely their tax bracket is going to be higher when they have to take this out, right? So there's better ways to handle that. One, there's ways to convert that money into other vehicles that you have access to, that you can use, that doesn't have the same implications. Also, for those that quick blunder here as well, it's kind of a side note to this as far as 401ks go. If you have 401ks in a past employer, do not leave them there. You're getting hit with huge administration fees, and the returns are atrocious. There's things you can do to get that money out. That's called a qualified roll, that you can get it into far better, more secure, better performance. Don't leave 401ks in a past employer and just withdraw from there. It's a huge blunder. It's costing you a bunch of money. So anyway, these are some big key things. These are the top 4 plus 5. The fifth one is what I mentioned up front, not having a plan at all, right? That's catastrophic. But these are 4 key things in addition to the not planning at all that, we see a lot that people don't account for. There's plenty of other things that people don't account for. There's 6 different risk total in retirement planning. You got to make sure all of them are accounted for. And that's one thing that through proper planning and coaching and whatnot, it's going to help you get through that. You got to account for everything. We want you to have a happy retirement. I know you want to have a happy retirement. Do what you want in retirement. But you got to account for those blunders. Now, we all want to think about retirement being happy, and it should be. And that's our goal, is that you have a happy retirement. But let's minimize the blunders. They're out there. There's plenty of stumbling stones, if you will, along the way. So let's minimize those blunders. So anyway, put some comments down in there in the chat, in the comment section. What are some things that you've seen? What are some concerns you have? If you don't want to put them there, shoot me up a DM on Facebook. Messenger. If this replay will be available on the page, but you can also always go out to our YouTube channel. All the replays from this group are going to be out there as well afterwards. And I do want to leave you with one thing. You probably heard me say it before a lot. The key in and around to being good stewards and what we're doing with our money. When it comes to money, we either worship wealth or we worship with our wealth, right? It's a big, big statement. I love this statement. What are we doing with our monies? Another huge blunder here, let's add another blunder here, is if we're worshiping our wealth or worshiping our money and not worshiping with it, right? What are we doing with our money to glorify God's kingdom, right? What are we doing? Are we in a position that when he puts a call in our life, that we're in a financial position to be able to do what we want to do? That's all part of it. Money is a tool. He never said we shouldn't have money, but it's a tool to do the things we need to do in life, that what he wants us to do in life. And we need to worship with our wealth, not worship wealth. It's a big difference. You can be successful, you can have money, but you're going to be good stewards of it and doing what you need to do. Part of being good stewards of it is planning for you to have the right funds in retirement to take care of your family. That's a huge calling, taking care of your family and taking care of yourself, right? But you got to be in a position to be able to do that, right? Being good stewards. So I always like to throw that back out there. I love that phrase. So anyway, hit me up with any questions that you have. Until next week, Hope you guys are having a wonderful week. Think about those blunders. If you want to discuss them, hit me up. More than happy to talk about them. Go back into our Facebook group, look at some of the past posts. A lot more posts and content coming. So talk to you soon. Y'all have a fabulous week, and God bless.